right, it's 10 on my clock, so let's go ahead and get started. Looks like we might be a little light on participation. Most people are probably heading out for the holidays. So welcome to the Ops Backend group conversation. I'm Delia Havens, the director of the Backend teams. So happy to come back and talk more in Q4. So we're wrapping up the year, and there are a few things that are that I'm going to touch on related to my personal OKRs. So my OKRs for this quarter have been related to hiring and growing our teams and focusing on implementing Throughput. So let's dive right in. So on hiring, quick team updates. Have been really excited to welcome a lot of new members, and we have more joining in January. So as you can imagine, the end of year, closing down offers, a lot of people don't necessarily want to start right before, the holidays, and some of those start dates that got pushed out to January, which is perfectly fine. And we're very excited to have new members on the team and grow the ops backend. This is no small effort. So a lot of help has been with the manager, the engineers, the dev team supporting us. So really great collaboration. Very happy with the outcome. We are a bit short of our numbers, so we're still hiring. Please send in your referrals. We have very ambitious plans for next year. So nobody is pausing on our hiring efforts here. This is all very important to continue to do. The next thing that I've been focused on is throughput. So throughput is a new engineering metric that we've implemented this quarter. And I've been watching it closely and collaborating with the engineering productivity team to implement this graph. So when you think about throughput as a metric, it's just one of the measures that we want to take on. It is one of the first development metrics that we're implementing. And I'll talk some more about what are some of these additional metrics that we would look at implementing next year to help us out as we gain more visibility into engineering productivity. So if you've been familiar or following along with Throughput, you can now go to the quality dashboard here, select a group, and you'll see a graph like this show up on the page. This is basically displaying the number of MRs that were merged per week for the whole group. So it includes, front end, back end documentation, and we've categorized it based on these labels. We've also added an undefined category, which is basically to say this MR did not fall under one of these specific 5 labels, and we still want to count it, but we also want to highlight that it's undefined so that we can gain visibility into why are these not labeled, how can we do better, identifying them, because the point of these categorization is that we want to get visibility into our investment. We want to know that we're balanced. We want to know that we're prioritizing appropriately. So these are all just tools within the chart that helps us have these conversation, which is exactly why we're looking at this metric. So just a few things to highlight. Like I said, this is a group level view. You'll see the MR breakdown. Currently, you cannot just, change the views. So it is set to 12 weeks of view. We're going to look at maybe in following iterations, allowing for some flexibility there. But at this time, I'm really happy with where we are, and really a big thanks to the engineering productivity team and everyone that collaborated on it. So when we look at what's next, a number of things that we want to iterate on as we've been using these graphs, as I've been reviewing them with my managers, and hopefully they're taking and having conversation with the engineers. There are a number of things that, came to light that would be great enhancements. And in the spirit of iteration, we want to continue to improve on it. So I'm not going to go through each one, but I've highlighted some of the top ones that we're going to focus on. And then, this last bullet, there's, a project where all these issues are defined and more of them will get defined. We do want to, we're getting to a point where we also need to be very careful about our investment in the insight, the GitLab Insight project versus, working with our core team to get this implemented in our product. I very much want to see this in our cycle analytics. We, I say this often, I'm part of GitLab for this passion and this reason, and we want to make our own product better and usable for our team. So definitely looking forward to more collaboration with the dev team, with the product team, to get these engineering metrics alongside the cycle analytics that we currently have. If you're curious about, what else do I have beyond throughput? So some of the things that I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation on, if you will, I've defined under this epic proposal. But if you look at this screenshot really briefly, throughput is just this one right here, where you can see the number of MRs that are getting merged week to week. On its own, it's a good metric, but it's not the only data we should be looking at. We should continue to look at our quality metric. If we're pushing a lot, if our throughput is through the roof, but our quality is not, high, and we're bringing production down, then we're not really achieving the goal that we're setting out to do. So we really want to continue to improve our throughput while maintaining our definition of done, while increasing our quality, while we're supporting our infrastructure team and their uptime goals, and so on and so forth. So this epic basically defines what are these complementary data that we can enhance our engineering productivity dashboard with, which will continue to provide us with these awesome tools to have these healthy conversations. So I had an additional slide, but it's one that I was going to look at time and see how we are. So I'll just move it up. Why I'm passionate about throughput and why you hear me talk about it like a broken record. To me, it feels it's one of the tools that we really need to adopt on the dev side to support our plan of getting to CD, continuous delivery. We really need to focus on small MRs, faster, from start to merge, basically improving our cycle time. These are all really great habits that we need to build within the dev team to support our road to CD. And as we take these on, we really don't need to wait for the infrastructure project to be all set up and done. These are things that we can see a lot of benefit implementing right now, and will set us up really well once we are, fully set up with our pipelines. We have our quality, environment set up, performance testing. There's a lot that goes into supporting that CD vision. And the dev side, this is a habit that would really serve us well moving forward. So that's all the content I have for you. I will stop sharing and look at your questions. And feel free to jump in. I actually don't see anything in the chat. I don't know, Trevor, if you're on, you might be seeing something I'm missing here.
Don't see any questions at this time.
All right.
I want to say that this is amazing. These are awesome graphs. I love, Dalia, you advocated for the throughput model. I think that's a beautiful model because it incentivizes doing the right thing, namely splitting stuff up, making stuff smaller. So I think that's really great. And I think we should compare divisions across the company. I know it's a bit of a weird comparison, but do take a bit of inspiration from our sales department. We used to be end of the quarter heavy, and they set new goals. They set goals to have stuff merged 1 month, 2 months earlier, and they managed in the second month of this quarter in November, we had 85% of our plan made. And that was purely by just changing the mindset, saying, hey, I'm not going to give you the discount if you close by the end of the year. I'm going to give you it only if you close by November. Now, and I understand that 3 months is not the same as 1 month. And I know some things take longer, but it would be cool if we can get more and more merge requests away from the freeze window. And I love that you're asking people to do that. I think it's important. And I think it's doable, not for everything, but for a lot more than today.
Thank you, Sid. Yeah, no, that's really great. I like your parody about taking from other teams, because that was kind of a big driver for how these engineering metrics came about, is that the sales team, you can see they track everything. And we're like, why are we flying blind on the engineering side? We need more metrics. We need more data. So yeah, absolutely.
Also want to do a shout out to Mac for making sure the terminology, my dinner is being served. Thank you for that, Karen. It's very Dutch, boerenkool, with a vegetarian sausage. The Mac is making all the terminology like team to group and everything like that. Mac, thanks for helping this person who is obsessed with that. If no one else is talking, I'll just keep blabbering. How is it going with integrating it into GitLab Core? Have we gotten any metrics into it yet?
So I've had some conversation on issues, and in this epic that I linked in the slides, Victor had chimed in and pointed that he's had some defined, but that's actually one of my goals, is to be a little more annoying to Victor, actually. He's not on, I don't think, to support, to defend himself.
No, that's great, Dahlia. Thank you for. Yeah, no, please continue, Noi. To answer your question, Sid, more directly, we have the issues created per month that we launched in 11.5, I believe. So that's would be the first, I would say, the first chart, and we have a bunch of issues and epics that I will link to in the chat here once I stop talking for that. And then, so I believe Dahlia has already commented on several of those. So we have those scoped out, and we have a lot of things to do in the plan team. So you know, as we hit the new year, hopefully get more folks in, and then just rejuggle priorities. I'm confident that we'll move, you know, at a finite pace. I don't know how fast, but we'll definitely move and have more graphs in. So Dahlia has definitely participated already, and definitely Mech and Mark and other folks have added a lot of feedback and things already. So it is moving along. I'll update the channel with the links there.
Yeah, but Mac has a link here in the chat about average MRs per developer. Yes, Mac, I already saw that. It looks beautiful. Thank you. I think there's a bit of a mindset thing that I want to call our attention to. When I ask, like, hey, how much of this is in GitLab? We're pointing to GitLab. We're pointing to Victor. Victor is GitLab, basically. And Victor schedules the time of our the manage team or the plan team, basically. But I don't understand why we're going to Victor and the plan team. Our mission is everyone can contribute. Why does Victor have to be? Victor's not planning the time of our community contributors. Why are we not just contributing it to GitLab and kind of we get other contributions, but we don't have to wait for anybody. We only have to wait if the plan people have to do the work. But why aren't the people in the quality team excited about this? They made this. They made it outside GitLab. I know it's more work to make it inside GitLab, but it's open source. Just add it to it.
Yeah, at KubeCon, I had a really great conversation with Maren about that, where his delivery team needs a whole bunch of capabilities to make delivery awesome. And he just plans on doing it and working with us and coordinating, obviously, but having his engineering team work on whatever he needs to make GitLab the product he needs to do his job.
What do you think about that, Alia?
No, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of why we're starting to get to a point where we don't want to continue to, you know, invest heavily in the Insight project. Not that hasn't been a great tool. We absolutely needed to get something quickly out there for visibility, but using our investment in our product is the ultimate goal. That's where we need to be. The other thing that's been, you know, having experience with other projects and trying to gather these metrics, whether through Jira APIs or whatever other tools you need, there's very little available at a group level. And I think that's our strength, is that we can really provide that visibility with what we have. So yeah, no, it's definitely a great thing to push behind, not just to leave it on Mech's team or Victor's team, but maybe that's something that we need to carve out from our engineering, you know, teams as well, is as we have, need and passion for this, how can we work together on some of these smaller issues and divide it into, small achievable deliverable by other people outside of the plan team. Does that make sense?
I don't understand. Like Mac is not on the plan team, right?
No. I'm saying that like there's these tools are being used across all of the teams. So any engineer on the team,
but it's not any engineer. I'm talking about Mac, his team. Mac made these tools. He is a product manager for this. His team is able to make the code. I don't understand why Victor and the plan team is getting even involved. Mac need these tools. We want to use our own tools. Why is Mac not contributing this directly to GitLab? Why is Victor and the plan team involved? Why are we talking about collaboration? I love collaboration when it's needed, but if we can avoid it, we go much faster.
Yeah.
So why isn't there just merge requests from Mac and his team to GitLab? Why are we talking about collaboration? We shouldn't. It's not that Victor is in charge what gets added to GitLab. He's not. What he's in charge of is what the plan team works on. What gets into GitLab is just if it meets the definition of done, it gets added.
So if I may jump in here. So the reason why we went with Insights is because we have limited front-end knowledge on our team, and Insights was built already done that time, so we iterate on it. We could re-strategize and put this into GitLab, but we had to wait for the charts that Andreas and his team is analyzing, and the chart library that we're going to decide to use in GitLab to be done first, and then we can start working in GitLab. That's one thing. And another reason is because it's a lot easier to iterate on this thing outside because we don't know what's right first to build a GitLab. I understand that we want to iterate inside GitLab.com or in GitLab as a feature, but with the absence of the charts library that we're missing, it was just easier to iterate on this external stuff built on charts.js, which is easier for us.
If charts.js is easier, why not ship chart.js with GitLab for the intermediate time and just do it into GitLab? Like, if the reason you're doing this outside of GitLab is that someone blocks you from using chart.js while we're still making a decision about something new to use, I think that's a failure of the organization. I think never ever block people from doing something. And I'm not sure what the implication of certain parts of GitLab using charts.js is, but I think it's just another dependency. We'd rather not load it, but we can live with it for a couple of months while we figure a replacement out. And I don't care about the quality. Like right now we have nothing. The quality of nothing is pretty bad. As long as that's not a data or a security problem, we can have a very low standard for what gets in. So so far, nothing of what you told me is a reason to develop this outside of GitLab.
Thank you for that feedback, Sid. Victor, should we discuss this offline and see if we want to put charts.js in GitLab and maybe accelerate the charts further?
Yes, but I'm just channeling Sid and saying like, just do it, right? So first of all, charts.js is it's
already in GitLab.
I don't care whether it's charts.js or not. And like literally just add a chart. We have a page in GitLab right now called at the group level called analytics, and just add whatever you want on that page. And I'll just say as a product manager for plan, like Sid says, I don't own it. So I don't own that page, right? Like I don't own that. Anybody can.
Nobody at GitLab owns anything. Like everyone can contribute. It's our mission.
So that page, whoever wants to add
gatekeepers, only coaches.
Yeah, so let me take an action item and create an issue, and let's
create a merge request. Get that code in. So you see Lucas in the chat saying charts.js is already in GitLab. So we made something outside of GitLab because it was unclear which charting library to use. It's already in GitLab charts.js. You might as well add it to GitLab.
Got it, Sid. Will do.
Mac, just ping the front end people. We might be able to help them. Yeah.
Don't ping the front end people. They are scheduled by product managers. Just do it. Don't ping UX. Don't ping front end. The only people you might want to ping is security, but I think it's unlikely that this will cause a security problem. don't just go for it. We have people, we have 150 free contributions in 11.6. They didn't ping product managers. They didn't ping front-end managers. They just put their code up and we merged it. That's what we do. That's why we're way more efficient. And you can see how this is way more inefficient, because now we're waiting for Victor. We're waiting for a decision on the charting libraries. That is what we have to fight against as a company, against this waiting for stuff and starting to do stuff outside of GitLab. This is why we could be way more effective if we don't do that. And if someone from the outside can do it, you too, like Lucas, it's great that you offer your help. Just there's no need, Mac, to take him up on it. We have very ugly charts now, namely they don't exist. So existing charts will be a huge improvement. As long as there's no security or database problems, everything is fine.
Voodoo, thanks for the feedback. I appreciate it.
Cool. And the reason I get passionate about this is because this is not the only part of our company where this is happening. So I hope that all of our product people, all of our engineering managers start paying attention to this pattern, because it is why we're not eating our own dog food, and it is hindering our speed of iteration. And we gotta get way better at this. And it's based on this misunderstanding that other people are gatekeepers. They're not. There are no gatekeepers at GitLab, except for the security team.
So I'm just vocalizing my other question I had. Sorry for switching the topic here, but you Mac, you linked to that chart with the developer productivity metrics, and it seems like the rolling average of merge request merge per milestone is going down, and also that's what it is. Average MRs merge per alpha per milestone. So does that mean that our merge requests get bigger, or that we just do less stuff?
Let me answer that question. The reason that it's going down is because 11.7 has not finished yet. So we are working on highlighting the data in progress. And given Sid's comment, we're not going to do that. We're just going to do it in GitLab straight away. But disclaimer, the last column is the data that's still coming in. And sorry for hijacking the group conversation, Dalia, but I'll cover this more in the quality group conversation. But we also have an issue with hygiene, meaning like there are MRs labeled for 10.3 that's still maybe getting worked on, right? If it's close, it's going to affect the data. So we don't have a good hygiene with data right now. And the reason that it's training down is because some of it's still coming in.
Sorry to, okay, you will cover it in the quality group conversation. Then I will. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Emily, for jumping in on with your suggestion here. Differentiating between completed data and in progress. It's valid for what we're measuring. We're measuring merged at that point in time. So it is consistent in the sense that this is what's been merged so far. There is value in being able to see it as the week progresses, because I also want to build up the team's habit of not waiting to Friday and not waiting for anything, just merge. So it is something Mec and I have been talking, and we're seeing that if you start building a trend line, as you can, if you're looking at this graph, your trend line will go down for the last whatever it is that you're tracking, week, milestone, and so on. So I think at this point, Mec and I and anyone else who would like to contribute, let's focus our efforts into getting this in GitLab and improving from there. We can iterate as we implement it there, but that's a very good observation from Lucas and Emily. And maybe Emily, if you're up for it, maybe we can have a coffee break and talk about data visualization. It's one of the things I definitely could learn a lot about. Cool. Looks like that was the last question. We're doing well on time, and I think with this, I will wrap it up. Thanks so much for a great conversation. Really appreciate everyone's effort, Mec's team especially on this. Look forward to further collaboration and implementation directly into GitLab. So let's take this and make it happen. So it's the end of the year. I wish you all happy holidays, happy new year. Bye, everyone. See ya.